Hi everyone, it's Liam here from Rating the Races. So we're going to do a review of yesterday, looking at some of the races, highlighting a few for future races, where I think they can go, and also talk about the Grand National. There was a good race yesterday that I thought was a really good trial for the Grand National. So let's start with the 115 at Kempton, where the horse that he didn't really catch my eye, but I was looking to see how well he ran because he does not like Kempton, and that was One True King. And again, he hated Kempton. I think the interesting thing with him is he's dropping in the handicap because of his disappointing runs. I mean, he went off favourite. Where was it? It was at Kempton. Here. Let's load up his form. He went off favourite for the Lanzarote Hurdle, 100 to 30 favourite, back in January of 2021. And he hated Kempton then, and he hated Kempton again yesterday. That came off a mark of 132. He's now down to 128 over fences, and he's going to drop again. It's next time that he's interesting for me, when they go to a course that he at least runs well at. And there's an obvious one for me. He won a decent maiden hurdle back here at Uttoxeter. And there is a novice event. Here it is, this novice handicap chase for horses rated 0 to 135 on Tuesday the 29th of March. Now, it's not going to be a massive race for One True King, but it's where I hope they run, and he's one that I'm waiting for a race that actually suits him. As soon as he goes to a race that suits, I think he'll be very interesting. He looks a big horse, and I think he just struggled with the sharp track at Kempton. And if they go back to Kempton again, then I think they've got something wrong with their planning or their thoughts on the horse. He clearly does not like Kempton. He's had one go over fences now, one go over hurdles. He's hated it both times. He's run disappointingly both times. So hopefully that's them done with Kempton. It'd be interesting to see where they run him next. Moving on to the 150, the Adonis, which is won by Knight Salute. In my opinion, if you believe that Knight Salute was the best horse in that race on the day, you've backed Knight Salute. Simple as that, honestly. The best horse on the day was Teddy Blue. Came there, was going to win the race, but made a complete mess of the last. He even then rallied again after the last to start closing Knight Salute down. Teddy Blue is the best horse there, in my opinion, and Knight Salute I don't think is going to get close to the Irish in the Triumph Hurdle. There's disappointing runs from the likes of Rabaul and Pleasant Man, the Paul Nicholls. He threw 2 darts at the race, hoping he had a Triumph Hurdle horse. He doesn't. He doesn't at all. So what do they do with some of those horses? Rabaul and Pleasant Man are going to be saved for their novice campaign, I'm sure. So they won't run again, just in case they accidentally win. The one that is interesting for me is Teddy Blue, obviously. And I hope they run him in this race, the Grade 1 at Aintree at the end of the season. Why could they run here? Well, first of all, it's a Grade 1. If they win a Grade 1, they'll be delighted with that. If they finish second in a Grade 1, they won't be too disappointed with that, even though it would then make it 3 seconds on the bounce. But he'd retain his novice status. So they might as well run in this Grade 1. If they win the Grade 1, brilliant. If they don't win the Grade 1, they've still got their novice status for next year for a horse who would have had 3 runs over hurdles, and would be quite interesting, especially if he got a handicap mark that was workable. I think if he doesn't win at Aintree, this is where we'll see him after that, in the 4-year-old limited handicap at Chepstow. That's in October. Yeah, I'm already looking ahead to races in October. Obviously, Gary Moore came here this year with Casalupi, who'd previously finished second at Kempton behind Tritonic in the Adonis. Disappointed here, but I think Teddy Blue would go much better here. So that's where I hope we see Teddy Blue. If he does turn up in that Grade 1 at Aintree, I wouldn't be against him. Well, we'd see what's in it, the rivals first, but I think he would run a big race there. But then if that doesn't work, they'll go to Chepstow in October, hopefully. Moving on to the Dove Cup, and there's 2 horses I want to talk about here. Isio, who finished 4th. Now go and watch his run back. He looked to get badly outpaced before running on really strongly. If you actually added another, even half furlong, he's going to finish. He could even win it. He was absolutely flying again at the finish. And for a 4-year-old to be doing that against older horses, I think that was a really good effort. I think he ran here because they knew he wasn't a Triumph Hurdle horse. They were hoping one of the others were in the Adonis. It proved that they weren't either. Isio's not going to go to the Triumph. He ran a terrible race at Cheltenham. But I do wonder whether he wants a bit softer going. You can see that he's very impressive when he came on soft at Kempton, and then he's disappointed the last twice on good and good to soft. Now, I think he can go well next season. I think that's where they'll wait now. I think they'll wait till next season. Although he's not going to be a novice, there's a couple of races that definitely catch my eye. There's this race here, which is a 2-mile handicap. They won it this year with Samarive, very unexposed Samarive. And it's very often run on softer conditions. So I think that would suit Isio. And if that doesn't work, he's ran 2 good races at Kempton. I know he was only 4th yesterday, but it wasn't a bad effort in a Grade 2 against older horses when it looked like he just needed to step up in trip. So I wonder whether this could be the long-term plan for him. The Lanzarote Hurdle back at Kempton, over 2 mile 5. The extra trip should suit. So that's where I think we'll see Isio the next 2 runs. I think we'll see him at Sandown in December and then Kempton in January. Looking at the winner, this one, I'm not even going to try and say that name. It's tricky. Why I was quite pleased that he won, if we go back to a run that he ran earlier this season, he was 4th in a bumper behind Top Dog, who's come out and won since, and also behind Bonte, our champion bumper horse. So hopefully that's a bit more of a form boost for Bonte, and Bonte can go to Cheltenham in the bumper and run a big race. Moving on to the Iddlers Chase. Our selection here, Potter's Corner, was disappointing. He actually drifted to 40-1. Drifted to the outside of the field. Their other horse got absolutely smashed up and won comfortably. Now, I'm disappointed to see that Potter's Corner doesn't have an entry in the Midlands National. I would have given him that one more run. I think he wants softer going. He didn't get it here. He's won a Midlands National. He's won it on heavy going. He would have been well handicapped, but they haven't entered him. I don't know where they're going to go. I imagine they'll run him in the cross-country chase, but I don't think he can win that because once it becomes a level weight race, he'll be considerably wrong with some of the horses that have been beating him in the cross-country races. So disappointed to see Potter's Corner both A, run poorly here, ground might have been against him, and not to have a Midlands National entry. In terms of those who won, Win My Wings was very impressive. Eclair Surf ran a great race, backed up that Bet365 classic chase form. Anything else that caught my eye from behind? Not really. Moving on to the 337, the Coral Trophy. Delighted to see Captain Orr get his head in front. We've obviously been on him a couple of times now. Never wanted to give up. I thought his 8th at Kempton, the jockey gave it a poor ride. His 3rd last time out, he was coming there making an effort and he made a mistake at a crucial time. I thought he was given a great ride here by Jack Tudor. There's a couple of horses that I want to take out the race without a doubt. Kitty's Light goes to the Bet365 Gold Cup surely and takes all the beating there. The extra triple. So I thought Kitty's Light has run a huge race considering, in my opinion, that the track doesn't suit, the trip doesn't suit, and yet he's still good enough to finish 2nd against good horses. When they go for that Bet365 Gold Cup, I expect them to go off favourite and I expect them to win it quite comfortably, actually. Brian Hughes gave it an interesting ride, I thought. He was very quiet on it and allowed him to get there on his own sort of thing. And that's not a bad tactic on Kitty's Light. And I wonder if they keep to Brian Hughes for the Bet365 Gold Cup at Sandown. Beakstown, I thought, has run a good race for 6th. When he finds a slightly easier race, he's going to go close. The other one that I do want to talk about is one of our Cheltenham selections for the Paddy Power Plate, and that's Zanza. Zanza's pulled up the last twice now. Both times with cheap pieces on. Take them off. Got to take them off now. 2 runs, 2 pulled up efforts, 2 disappointing efforts. He's now down to a mark of 100. He ran today of a mark of 145. Or I ran yesterday, sorry, of 145. Now, if he drops £3, that takes him down to a mark of 142, obviously. That's £3 lower than when he was second here. Essentially, 3 runs ago, he was second at Cheltenham, over 2.5, off 145. If he turns up off 142 in that paddy power plate, with those cheap pieces off, I think he can go really close. As long as it's been the cheap pieces that has been what's caused his issues, take them off, get him in that paddy power plate, and I think he goes really close. And I'm more keen on him now, despite pulling up, because it's another run with those cheap pieces on. Take them off. Moving on to this is where I think Kitty's Light will run. Was unlucky not to win it. If you watch the race back, got hampered. The horse who hampered got disqualified or got demoted, and the horse that then went on to win it was the only one who didn't get hampered, which was very unfortunate and unlucky for Kitty's Light. We also had the Borud Joe Chase, in which Any Second Now narrowly beat Escaria 10, with Borough Saint back in third and Cocoa Beach fourth. Now, obviously, the top 3 there, Any Second Now, Escaria 10 and Borough Saint, were on for the Grand National, all 3 of them. Borough Saint at, that's wrong one, 28-1. Despite being comfortably beaten, you can still only get 25s about him. He didn't drift because, once they weren't going quick enough and wasn't able to keep up with them, jockey wasn't going to ask, maximum effort here, was he? Grand National is the plan. Escaria 10 finished second and would actually be £1 worse off with Any Second Now come Grand National Day. And we are on Any Second Now at 16s and Escaria 10 at 33s. So it's great to see them now, as short as 9s, big as 12s, and as short as 10s, as big as 14s. Escaria 10, 33s to 14s. Any Second Now, 16s to 12s. So I'm very happy with those runs yesterday. After the weights, I was more keen on Escaria 10 than Any Second Now, because I was disappointed that Any Second Now got, I think, £7 from last year. However, after this effort, it gives me a little bit more confidence again back in Any Second Now. So I'm really hopeful for our selections in the Grand National. Just hope they get there now. One thing I did say, if we have a look at here, Kitty's Light finished second in this big handicap. Escaria 10 ran a great race in a Borud Joe Chase. I'm delighted with that because if we go up to my Ultima thoughts, I'm really hoping neither Kitty's Light or Escaria 10 take their chance here, as they would be 2 big dangers to our 4. We've actually now only got the 2 because Remastered is out and Cepage doesn't run. But they've both run really good races, and I think they would have gone really close in Ultimas, but they were right not to run in the Ultima. Escaria 10 as the Grand National, as the big plan, and I'm hoping Kitty's Light has the Bet365 Gold Cup as the big plan. I think both of them can go very, very close in those other races, and I think both of them are more prize money than winning the Ultima. So I'm really happy with that. So there's some thoughts from yesterday. I think the main talking point, Kitty's Light's got to go for that Bet365 Gold Cup, and I think he will win. Zanza's got to have those cheap pieces taken off, but then put him in the paddy power plate. Delighted with Captain Orr to get his win. Delighted with also Pictori. I didn't mention Pictori. He won for us as well. Drifted out to 3-1. I thought it'd be nearer even money personally, and then he won, which is a great result. Commentators were saying that they thought his jumping was erratic or dodgy. I just thought he was economical. Yes, he was low, but he wasn't really making a mistake through them. He was just jumping through them low and being economical. So, yeah, I was really happy with those two. So we had 2 nice winners yesterday. Thanks for listening. Hope you have a great rest of the weekend. What is it? It's like 2.5 weeks now to Cheltenham. Yeah, really looking forward to it.